Alright guys, I got a really simple 7-string metal riff for you to learn today, but actually there's a caveat. There's going to be 4 metal riffs that you're going to learn, but they're going to be the same metal riffs. And here's the thing about this particular tutorial that we're about to go through. This is really going to help you expand your rhythm playing skills on a 7-string guitar, and I'll explain the reason for this video, why we're doing it this way. I'll explain that at the end of the video after the lesson here, so hang around for that. I'm going to take one very simple riff. I'm not going to put any tabs up or anything. I'll call out the notes, but just one very simple riff, and then I'm going to show you how we can expand throughout the fretboard playing this one simple riff. And again, this is going to get you used to playing in different places throughout the fretboard so that you're not stuck, which is where a lot of us 7-string players have issues. We're not stuck in this tiny little section up here where the heaviest notes are. So let's just come up with a riff. This is just going to be a real simple riff. Let's see what I come up with. Alright, so all I'm doing here is I'm just playing that B. I'm in standard tuning, by the way. I'm just playing that B. And then I'm going to a C. Then to a D. Alright, so that's the notes. The B to the C, then a B to a D. And the little riff I'm throwing in there is just a... Okay, just a 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that was 1, 2, 3, but you get it. Just back and forth between that C and B, and then we're also going to go to, you know, the D there as well. So real simple. Let me play that one more time because we're actually going to replicate this simple little riff in some other areas, and that's where things are going to get really interesting. So let's go through that one more time. And you can play it faster if you want to. But that's not really the goal of this lesson. The goal of this lesson is to kind of venture out and venture beyond. We're creating a journey for ourselves. So what I want us to do, we're on the B and the E strings when we're playing that. I want us to move the same riff, okay, the same notes, right? Not really the same riff, but the same notes, which means we're going to play it in a different area. I want us to move over one string, okay? So we played a B, that's in B, right? B minor. So I want us to move down one string and play those notes on the E and A strings instead of the heaviest strings possible that we have here. So where is that note going to be? Okay, so if we're playing here, if we're going one string over to play that same note, we're going to play it down here. So again, we're on the E and A string now. So that's going to be frets, what is that, 7 and 9. So again, same notes, which would be this. So it's pretty simple there. I'll kind of walk us through that part again. Again, that's the E and the A strings, frets 7 and 9. You're just going to move up one fret for that next chord, which would be the C chord. Then you're going to move up several frets to play that D that we're playing, and those are frets 10 and 12. Now this part here, it's going to feel a little differently. So I'm just going back and forth between 7 and 8, then 10, then back to 8. So let's play that riff. Now, that's a much different feel than what we did earlier. Okay, so what's our next step? We want to move down one more string. Now we want to play those same notes on the A and the D strings now. So where are we going to go for that? It's like Axel said, where do we go now? Well, we're going to go right here. And the funny thing about it is what we just did was we actually played everything an octave higher, okay? We started on those heaviest strings possible, the B and the E. That's the lower octave, the initial octave, well, the initial notes. Okay, then we went an octave higher, playing it here. Okay, so now we're moving over one more string. So we're on the A and D strings. We're not actually playing this one though an octave higher. We're actually going to play the exact same notes, but just on the next strings over. Now, because we're playing on the smaller strings, you will get a little difference in tone here. This will give it a little bit more bite and a little bit more kind of 80s-ish sounding, if you will. So let's play it here. Now, all I'm doing here, we're on the A and the D strings, frets 2 and 4. Okay, that's your B. Same is on the E and the A strings where we're playing down here. Okay, but we're up here now. So A and D strings, frets 2 and 4, and then we're going to go like this. Just moving up one fret for that C chord. Then we're going to go up to frets 5 and 7 for the D. And then this part's going to be going back and forth between 3 and 2. Then we're going to go to that 5th fret and land on the 3rd fret again. So let's play through that on the A and D strings. And you see that does give it a slightly different tone and feel, than what we had earlier on the E and the A string. So I want us to do one more thing. I want us to move over one more string. Where is that going to put us? Now, I'll give you a hint. We are going to be playing an octave higher. We're going to go up an octave, and let's just play it. We'll talk about it later. Let's just play it. Let me find out where this is first. So we got our B. Okay, so I think that's going to be down here. There it is. Okay, so now we're on the G. What are we on? We're on the D and G strings here, sorry. So we're on D and G. We are on frets number 9 and 11, okay? Now I'm going to show you a little bit different way to play this one, but let me just go through the notes first, okay? Okay, so that's all we're doing there. That's our B. Again, we are on strings D and G, frets 9 and 11. Just moving up one fret there. Then we're going to move all the way up to frets 12 and 14. And in our little riff here, we're just going back and forth between 10 and 9, and then we're going to go 12, okay, and then land back on fret 10. So this is kind of how that sounds again. Now, for this type of riff, I mean, that might not be the most ideal place to play this riff on the fretboard, but again, this lesson is not really about where to play the riff. It's more about expanding your knowledge of the fretboard here on a 7-string, and this type of lesson will greatly help you do that, okay? But you can play that a little bit different way because that's got more of that 80s bite to it as well. We're going to throw in a little bit of alternate picking. Let's just see what that sounds like. guys. So I just kind of threw in that last piece. I wanted to show you that though, because playing something high up here like that, like we just did on that the D and G string, that's a really cool type of riff, like maybe between a bridge and a guitar solo or after a chorus or something like that, just to throw in something a little different. I mean, you can almost hear it, like the music's going, drums, everything's going, and all of a sudden everything drops out, and then all of a sudden you've just got this. And then everything just kicks in. So that's that type of riff. That would work really cool, and I'm just kind of like trying to help us all, myself included, think outside the box a little bit here on where these types of things could fit in an actual song. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take another riff, just something that maybe you came up with or something that you've been working on, and just take that riff and then play that same riff another string over, then another string over. Find where those notes are on those other strings and then practice them. Sometimes playing the stuff on the heaviest string possible, because we've got that open string. Playing that a string over might be a little bit more difficult. I don't remember what I just played, but it was something like this. Let's go a string over. Okay, I think I got close enough. Again, I don't remember what I played the first time, which is par for the course for me. But yeah, I just want to share that with you guys, and just again try to help you expand your knowledge of the fretboard there on your 7-string guitar, because like I said before, you know, and this is kind of the last piece I want to share with you here, as a 7-string player, or really you can apply this to your 6-string guitar as well. You know, us metal guitar players, we have a tendency just to stay in this little area. And that's cool and all, you know, we're hanging out in that low area. I mean, that's why we got a 7-string guitar, or if you're playing a 6-string, you know, the majority of our metal stuff is in that little region there, and that's okay, that's fine. I'm not telling you don't go there, but I also don't want you to stay there. I don't want you to live there 100% of the time. I want you to travel out, travel, you know, abroad, which are on some of these other strings that we just went over. So again, take a riff like we did here. Take any riff that you have. Maybe it's something that you've written or you're writing, or maybe a riff that you learned from another band, and just play it a string over. Find out where those notes are on the next string over, and do it again, and then do it again. And that's going to really just help you expand so much, not only as a metal guitar player, but I believe as a musician in general, because you're going to start just expanding. Your creativity is going to flow a lot better, and you're just going to come up with just different things that you can write and play, and you're going to learn your fretboard much better. And which again, that's another issue a lot of 7-string players have, because we have those low notes. You know, we're hanging out in that region there. Oftentimes the rest of the fretboard, all the other notes that we have, are forgotten, and that's just sad. That should not happen. That extra string gives you that many more notes. Don't just focus on the B string. Play those other notes, play those other frets. So I just want to encourage you to do that. So I hope this lesson helps you. I know I kind of did this lesson kind of in the raw here. I didn't do any special recording. You guys are just hearing everything out here in the open here in my studio room here. And I've just got the mic capturing the amp and me talking, so hopefully this format worked for you. But let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I'd also like to know if this video helped you. That's the whole goal of these types of videos, is to help you become better, more proficient, and of course, as far as 7-string goes, to help you expand further throughout the fretboard and just learn your instrument better. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, I am giving away a free practice guide that's in the YouTube description. There's a link for that. There's also links to listen to my music and ways you can support me, and I deeply appreciate those. Until the next video, as always, keep it metal.